Hello everyone, I'm aware that the screen is blank. I need a moment. This game is a bit weird with how it works and it just takes over my computer completely. I want to make sure everything's working. I'm sure audio's fine. Video, I'm not sure. I've already played this game before. I may have attempted to try... Hold on. I may have attempted to try to play this game before, and I may have played for about an hour, and I may have realized that the video was completely black. And now I've decided I'm only ever going to play this game while streaming because I don't want that to happen again. Right now, the game should look like a game and it be at the options menu. If everything is working right and going to plan and not being frustrating. At the same time, I am definitely not at all stalling while my laptop is being slow. And this is professionalism. In the meantime, I will leave the comforting sounds of this office to be heard. Okay, good. It's almost working. Actually, wait, I need to sign in to YouTube. Probably an important thing to do. Okay, wait. Sorry about this. Okay. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, the video does need to be fixed. It should go all black right now. That should be better. Oh boy. It's doing weird things. Okay, let's see. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Test. Okay, audio's working. Video is decent. There's two black borders on the side, but that's probably the best it's gonna look like. Let me try to get this laptop set up. Alright. Start the game. This live stream will both be a Q&A and a chance for you to tell me the decisions to make within this game. So, feel free to ask questions, feel free to tell me the choices to make in the game. I'm going to start out with, if no one says any things to do in the game itself, I'm going to start out with going for endings that I prefer to this game. And I really don't like how long the loading lasts.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I wonder what happens if we don't step out of the office. It's weird. You can make typing sounds even if you're not at a desk. But then you can't make the typing sounds if you are in front of one. Okay, fine.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I also can't go back into the room I came from. I locked myself out. I am so competent.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nope.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
That is very true. Okay, right. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift $5,000. Okay.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story is... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
I was actually able to read one of those papers, but it wasn't anything important. I'm not going to give him a chance. He's not going to tell the story he wants to tell. I like how there's a sign that says danger everywhere.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
I can't believe it just put me back here at the same time. The corridor we came through is missing.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
The red door. Okay.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Yes.
Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Trying to make up my mind here. I didn't go through that door before. And there was an ending I liked where I didn't. Just for the sake of it.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
I don't think it benefited, but I don't think it harmed it, so I'm gonna give it a 3.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
It's just the same thing, but now there's a leaderboard of doors that's not real. You can tell it's not real because of what happens at the very bottom.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Definitely didn't, so I'm between a 1 and a 2. I'll give it a 1 because if anything I stopped going through the doors just to look at it.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh, I hope this loading doesn't take as long as it did before.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click
That's
the
not
button
good.
to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play
No,
to make
thank
sure
you.
it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
I think this is Jack Jack. It's definitely Jack Jack from The Incredibles.
You heartless bastard.
Okay, it wasn't
Did you
Jack
do it
Jack.
because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely
Thought it was
out of
Jack
ideas.
Jack.
I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's
Thought it was
over.
the real life version
Thank
of
you for
Jack Jack.
playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
So the loading now isn't as bad, but the first time it loaded was really bad.
Well, Stanley, is this any
Here we
better?
go. Yes.
At last, the one thing you've always desired. A
Yes.
game I had absolutely nothing to do with.
Yep.
But is it enough? Tell me
Oh,
that, Stanley.
it's enough.
Could it ever
There's a
be
ton of
enough?
content that
Well,
can be
I'll
made
say
with this game.
I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then. Let's see, what does it
narrator's
mean?
invisible.
Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes.
I want to know how
it's
this worked
complete.
legally.
I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
I like the ability to
But
like
you've only
spin
seen it
with
from the
this. I wish you could
outside.
do this
You've
in
only
normal
gotten half the
Minecraft. Maybe you
experience.
can, I
Please,
just don't
Step
know.
inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond
It's a
everything.
very smart move.
Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Alright. Time to find diamonds.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Nope. Did not do that. That would have been smart.
No, this is far more open-ended than I had in mind.
There's
I'm looking for
nothing
something
wrong
more
with that.
narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Wow. That was a 5 out of 5 game. If you look at the rest of this channel, you see why I'm saying it's 5 out of 5. I think there's more Minecraft content on this channel than anything else. Portal. We're playing Portal.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Why would I do that? I'm just gonna stay here where the music is at. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm done messing around.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
I can run. Nope, I can't make it. Okay, so if I stand here, then that thing's gonna open up. It just opens up randomly. There we go.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble.
Oh shoot. I feel like this is a trap. Yep, it was a trap. How is he able to survive that fall? It also sounds like we're in Minecraft right now, even though we're not. I wonder where this hallway ends. Does it just go in a circle? Oh, I was here before. And I remember just falling. I did play through the same ending before. I just really like it. I really like the Minecraft part of it. Okay, there's nothing to do there. I feel like there... Wait, am I falling again?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
This isn't all sound disturbing. It almost sounds like a threat. I'll be back soon. And we're back where we started. I think we should try once with following every order exactly as given.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
I don't have hands to look down at a watch, so that's gonna be an issue, but oh well. Also, the narration there changed. I don't know if that means anything or could lead to anything. I just thought that was interesting. Were those doors open before? I kind of want to go there, but I don't know how to.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, fine. Oh wait, this is exactly the 2 doors I saw before, I think. Because this would be the same window. Wait. No. I think the room numbers here are different.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I also forgot to say this at the beginning of the live stream, but if Matthew messages me that he's ready to do a recording for the zombie roleplay, then I'm gonna end the stream. I just now stopped to check my phone, and luckily that is not the scenario right now. Or unluckily, depending on how you look at it.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it
Paycheck?
an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the
I wonder if there's like different combinations that have like different doors that open.
He opened passageway.
I don't like this. I don't like the looks of this. This is the game. That's why we're doing a loading screen right now. This loading just takes forever. Okay, this isn't as bad.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I wonder if that's foreshadowing something.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I don't want to. I want to escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Okay, never mind. We're not going to go through there.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Absolutely
Did he
nothing.
have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
Wait,
And
I don't remember there being a painting in the office I was
in
in.
this place where freedom meant nothing.
I kind of just like to mess with the camera settings, just like make it go all blurry. I don't know.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job?
Is this the only reason why there's a narrator in my mind?
To accept it blindly?
Maybe it's making Stanley go
No.
crazy, and
He
that's why there's a
refused
voice
to
in his
believe
head.
it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Feel like that's
Wasn't
what's
it?
going on with this
Was it even
narrator.
possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
I've played this
And
through
as
as
the cold
well.
reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
I'm wondering what happens if I hit the on switch. Oh yeah, now I remember this. It's just... Yeah, I'm not gonna say, but I know where this is.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He
We have
had
a lightsaber
defeated the
now.
Machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
This isn't a realistic looking door, it's just a black screen.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation. the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
And this was all a dream, and we're back in the same desk. I'm gonna repeat all that just to see what happens if I hit the on button.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Takes 15 minutes for one explanation or one story. It's worth it.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm gonna try to go through everything but much
person
quicker.
Here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
The combination,
Stepping
I
into
think,
his
was 2, 8,
manager's
4,
office,
5.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oh, come on! This is a horrible punishment. Is there coffee here?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
I wonder if it's possible for people to like speed run through all the different stories. And if it's
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
great. And
now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
There's not really many co-workers here.
One of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Imagine if I accidentally hit the off button.
Facility. It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I just stopped for a second to make sure that the narrator voice was actually working.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start.
Where else we push the numbers?
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground,
I can't do
everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich.
I don't know if I have time for this.
But I'm sure
the 5 is very far.
The next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons.
Okay, it's not going to do anything.
These colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea?
There actually isn't anything that's gonna work.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then...
I don't know if there's anything I can actually do.
Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Well, I guess he's not going to finish that sentence. I didn't think that was going to happen. This I expected. Okay, now I wonder what happens if we go to the basement instead of the
a soft wind
uppermost
blew
floor.
Outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nope.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He
I've
considered
done
the
this
possibility
before.
of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he
There's not
believed
really an exit
everyone
here.
had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself,
I think he
I'll
is.
wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's
I got
asleep,
bored.
he doesn't have to take responsibility?
That's why I'm just going
for
through the
himself?
doors now.
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
I don't think so.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Can't remember what I
My
did,
life is
but there was some
normal.
alternate ending where it
I
shows that he
am
doesn't
normal.
have a wife
Everything will be fine.
or
I
or even an
am
apartment. I don't think.
Okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real.
Oh, I
must
remember
be
this
real.
now.
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
This part
Mariella
confused me
woke
at
up on a
first.
day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Though
Oh.
she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
They could
And
make
then
a
she
whole
turned
entire
around.
spin-off where it's just that woman, I forgot what the name was, but her name is in Parable, and she works at the same place as Stanley. And it's the same set of events of going through a door and consequences. Right now I'm trying to think of something
Even now,
different that I
Stanley's
haven't
office
done.
was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I think I'll, ignore him, but I'll let the
Wow.
crane lift continue.
Yes, this room. What but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I really like that dialogue, just that one line.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
I wonder what happens if I drop all the
Someone
way.
you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you...
This is the one I was talking about. This proves he doesn't have a wife.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right.
This is just
Okay, there
weird
we go.
and creepy.
All right, now, I want you to come
Just
in
a little
and tell
bit.
me all about your
Yep. It's a mannequin.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think
It's
you had
just
a loving wife?
a mannequin.
Who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying
With
to
a
make
robot
point here,
voice.
Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder
I've
of the
tried
inconsequential
doing a recording
nature
of this
his
before
existence.
where I tried to ignore the keys or just push the one next
Pushing
to it.
buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
This place
Now he's pushing
slowly
buttons.
turns into the
Now
actual office
he's eating
space.
lunch. Now he's
I just
going
forgot about-
home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, In his mind, he can go on fantastic
Hello to whoever
adventures.
joined the live
From
stream
behind
and
his
left.
desk,
Never mind.
Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a
Trying not
reminder
to talk
that none
over
of it
this,
would
but
ever
at the
happen
same
to him.
time, the narrator talks a lot.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors
could tell if it was a
and
zero
mind
or no.
controls.
I'm
Down
wondering if
another
they have
was
like a
yellow
different
line
ending
that
for
weaved
both.
in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby, and he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality,
Well, there
all
is a
he's
painting
doing
in
is
his desk
pushing the
area.
same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm gonna push it.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
It's not needed.
Well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley
Oh,
pushed a
no
button.
thank you.
And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
I'm assuming it's gonna restart now? Yep.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it.
It was
If
a
he checked over
narrator.
his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
That door didn't shut. Right, so if I'm always looking at the door, is it not gonna shut behind me? That one might.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm wondering what happens if I just stay here. I haven't tried this before. I don't want to give it a full minute or anything like that, but I'll watch and see how long I can go till there's narration. Can I read any of these documents? Not really, okay. So what happens if I go to the, let's see what happens if I try jumping all the way down.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his...
I just realized that that comes from ignoring him not listening.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yes, it is.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the road. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
No? Okay. So that's what happens if you jump off of the thing. Don't do that.
Gone. What could it mean?
Oh, it is raining now.
To go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'll go for the door on the left this time. Like, not the actual door on the left, but when it tells me to afterwards. I don't think I've done that yet.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I'm wondering what happens now. This is not what he said, so this could be completely new.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Yeah, I don't think I actually have another option this time. So fine.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
It was actually to the left.
Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Clearly you're a professional.
Let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Really?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. we just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish
employee
now.
fired.
Whole story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Oh, this is gonna kick me back to the beginning now. That was kind of funny. I'm wondering how many different endings are there in Stanley Parable. I might have played through all of them at this point, and I hope I didn't. I feel like there's more. At the same time, I just can't think of anything else to do differently. I'm looking up how many endings are in Stanley Parable. I know there's one I haven't done, and I can't remember what I did to achieve it. Oh, so this is interesting. I'm using an image that just says a bunch of stuff. If I type face punch, there's a texture change. Oh. Okay. That's interesting.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Trying to see what else we can do. Oh, I didn't know that you could do that. There is supposed to be a different ending here right now. Oh well. Oh wait, that was the wrong one. I think. It's weird seeing the different textures. So there was something about it.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Let's go for this door here. I don't know.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you. There
I'm treating this like a
definitely
maze.
was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Oh. Okay, I didn't think that was actually gonna happen. Let's see.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, wait, hold on a minute. I'm definitely not all distracted right now. There. Aiden has joined the stream, and I just responded back with hello.
I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
How about no? How about we stay right here? I'm gonna stay in one of these chairs, right? No. Alright, fine. Aiden, if you want, you can give certain directions as for what you want for me to do in the game itself. I actually have no idea what I'm supposed to do right now.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Oh, wait, this isn't really retracing steps.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what?
Nope.
Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
I'm wondering if it's going to also be another thing where it doesn't work. Okay, yep.
Alright, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
I'm following the line.
The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Why this music choice? Just why? Also, Aiden, I am trying to think of the answer to that question. I don't know. It's a bit of a list there.
Got the music. Go back and look at that fern.
No. Fine.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
I have a feeling this is not important whatsoever. Aiden, have you ever played the Stanley Parable before?
We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
I'm wondering...
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
I've been wondering what's behind these doors.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
I kind of want for this to go to a dead end.
Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Oh, it's gonna go right back to the door, isn't it?
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Oh, he actually was able to veto it.
A choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
I have a feeling this isn't the correct door.
Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this
all the way
thing,
instead of skipping parts.
wall.
Nope, left door.
Well, who consulted
Okay,
me?
well, it's too late for that
I
now,
get to
Aiden.
decide. Why don't I get a say in all
Why are
of
you
this?
falling out?
Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't
Oh,
want it to be.
why was I following the line all the way
I don't
instead of
want the game to
skipping
keep
parts, even though I could
restarting.
clearly
I don't
tell
want
there
to
were
forget what's
parts
going
where
on.
it...
I don't want to be trapped like this. I
don't
won't
know.
restart
I chose
the
to.
game.
That's
I
why.
won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
It's also weird for...
And the timer stopped.
It's
Does
weird
that
for me to
mean,
talk over the
Did we
narrator.
do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
Can I sit in the chair?
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out.
Aiden,
won't
stop
we?
spamming that.
Well, in the meantime...
Oh! Oh, that was lovely. That just came out of nowhere.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm wondering if this is actually working or not. See, this is what it's usually been like.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Yes, he does.
entered the door on his left.
Okay, Aiden, do I take the door on the left or the door on the right? He said take the one on the left. I'm letting Aiden make all the calls for this playthrough, and then I think it's gonna be it. So, door on left or door on right? And I also just realized I have to wait for the live stream to catch up to this moment where I asked Aiden to pick between left and right, and currently it's not. Okay, now I think I'm at the part where it's picked between left and right. Okay, I'm assuming that was
not
right.
the correct way to the
Yeah,
meeting room,
okay.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean,
Okay, this is weird.
truly, deeply. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Do I take the door on the left or do I continue? Do I continue going straight? Also, you might end up picking an ending we've played through, but don't worry about that. Door on left or straight. The live stream has not caught up to this yet. That was a lovely observation. Door on the left or straight? Okay, continue straight. Okay.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay. Now, I really like that one line. Wait, can I actually go through this door? No. Okay. So, Aiden, I could go onto this thing and it'll take me to the corridor / hallway up there, or when I'm on it I can jump down onto the bridge. So do I jump on the bridge or do I let it take me to the hallway? So just say hallway or bridge.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps
Okay.
we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
So I could jump on the
I'm not
bridge
sure
or I
if
could go
you
into the
really
hallway.
know.
Which one?
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you.
I could jump
all
onto
this
that bridge.
time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten
Eh.
about.
I don't
Please,
think the
Stop trying to make
hallway,
every
okay.
decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley.
I'm trying to speedrun this part right now.
To put
I have to
your
go.
work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
I'm gonna let the.
You
I'm
need
not
to be
gonna answer
one
the
to
phone.
do this, to reach out to her. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check.
I already did a different ending where I answered it.
No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it.
Sorry, I already answered it before.
You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
It's gonna go
Please
back to the
observe
loading
this
screen.
helpful
And
instructional video.
it's gonna end right now, isn't it? Oh no.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time
It's a
should
bit more
you make a choice
drastic than
that
the
does not
other
conform to
decisions.
rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
I think there's some flaws in that video.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy
I don't think I can skip through
decision-making
this part.
process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should
Nice
subside.
note.
At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
No thank you.
Ah, welcome back. You may
Why?
have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay, I'm gonna try to speedrun this part. Wait. Okay. Assuming we take the
Now that
lift.
we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Mic on.
Wait. I may have missed what happened. Okay. Oh, so it dropped me back over here. Way too many incorrectnesses. Don't do it. Don't do what? I'm just gonna follow these doors in the meantime. I think this is gonna lead me back to the very beginning.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm gonna mess with him.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
There's gotta be something here I'm missing. There's not really a lot to do here. And I'll go back into the left.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way.
I like how the one time I let Aiden choose what happens, the whole entire game is destroyed practically.
No. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I
go back instead of
No, I
forward.
have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Yeah, I don't really think I could go back instead of forward at this point.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Well, I did let Aiden make the decisions.
My story.
Sorry.
If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard.
And now I'm gonna start. I feel better.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and
Seriously?
always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to
I
the
just
task.
wanted it to
Just
take me
follow
back
my
to the
lead and you'll
loading
be fine.
screen.
All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Fine.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping inside his manager's office,
the office is different than
Stanley was
before.
once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
It didn't work. So, I don't know why it didn't work, but I'm going to end the live stream right now. Thank you for watching. That's it. Bye. Wait, I need a minute just to end the stream. Sorry.